What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Adventures Calling Us. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming back. And thanks for tuning in for this video. I hope everybody had a great weekend. And we certainly did. We didn't do too much. Went to church, did our normal errands, ran to Sam's Club, did our normal bit. And it was a good weekend. It was fun, and it was fast, as it always is. And of course, today is a holiday, and kids are off of school. So that's always good. I feel like the kids these days have more time off of school than we ever did. Comment down below if you think that's true, but I do definitely feel that. So hope you guys had a great weekend. I am Eric, your esteemed host, and I want to jump into this video because I think it's going to be helpful to some of you, but it's also going to be something that I think everybody's most likely, hopefully, going to agree on. And certainly feel free to leave your comments down below once I go through these things. But today, what are we doing? We are talking about 5 things that are pretty rude to do on a cruise. If you've ever been on a cruise, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. But these are going to be 5 things. There's certainly more than 5. There are certainly more than 5, but these are the 5 things that I've been able to come up with that I feel are very rude to do on a cruise. And I kind of want to go over those with you and get your thoughts on it. So without further ado, let's jump into the video. So the first thing that is on this list, and look, this isn't just exclusive to cruise ships, but this is exclusive to cruise ships, hotels, office buildings, anything with more than one story. And I think most of you probably know where I'm going with this, and that is cramming into the elevators before people are able to get off. Yes, this is a common thing that you see happen all around, but especially on cruise ships, where people are trying to cram into the elevator when the doors open before the other people are actually getting off. And so obviously common elevator etiquette says this. It says, hey, you back up, you let the people off first, and then you get on after they've been able to disembark that elevator. So we've actually had a couple of instances before, and it goes past, just even, trying to get on the elevator before the people get off. We've actually, 2 cruises ago, this actually happened where you're waiting there, right? And cruise ship elevators, sometimes you're waiting because they stop and they stop and they stop, and then all of a sudden, so you're waiting there for a few minutes. This actually happened to Sarah and I a couple of cruises ago. We're sitting there waiting. We were the first ones there waiting to get on. We're waiting, and then all of a sudden, the doors open up, and people just rush in front of us as if we weren't waiting there in the first place. And so, right, not only did they not wait for the people to get off, they actually rushed in before we could, and we were the first ones waiting. So just elevator etiquette in general, I'm not sure where people stand on this, but definitely a pet peeve when you don't wait for people to get off, and certainly a pet peeve when you try to jump the line to get onto the elevator. Now, I'll tell you, the Icon of the Seas was actually really good with their new elevator system. Worked out well. You went up, you pushed the floor you wanted to go on, and it actually told you which elevator to go to. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? The whole thing, it would tell you which one you needed to go to, and that elevator would only stop on the floors that the button was pushed for. So there was no buttons on the inside to kind of, take you to any other floor that you didn't want to go to. It was a pretty efficient system, and I think more cruise ships should start doing that kind of an elevator system because it worked out well. We got to where we wanted to go, and it was a pretty smooth process. So people, when you're on the cruise ships, make sure you have your elevator etiquette ready because that is my #1 pet peeve. So the second thing on my list is going to be bringing kids into the adult-only spaces. Now, before we all get huffy and puffy, start talking about how we don't like kids, that is not the case. We actually have 4 of them, and we love them dearly. Now, are they perfect all of the time? No. But are we perfect as parents all the time? No. But when we are in the adult-only spaces on a cruise ship, that is our time where we want to relax. We want to enjoy a kid-free environment. We as parents don't get a kid-free environment very often, and so when we partake in a kid-free environment, we want to be able to enjoy it. Now, I will tell you, there are probably some people that don't like kids at all, and they would rather have kid-free vacations all the time or a kid-free cruise, such as Virgin Voyages, right, where it's adults only. However, right, when we partake in the adult-only sections, we just want our little bit of solace for that period. So when parents bring their kids into the adult-only spaces, it can be disruptive. And look, you're on a cruise ship. there should be plenty of things for your kids to do on board the cruise ship without having to bring them into the adult-only areas. And if you're on a ship that doesn't necessarily have all the bells and whistles, and you didn't do your research beforehand, and there's not a lot for your kids to do, well, one, shame on you for not doing your research. We always do our research to make sure our kids are going to be entertained. And two, still not an excuse to bring them to the adult-only areas. So parents, do us all a favor. When you are in the adult-only areas, don't bring the kids. Leave them in Adventure Ocean. Leave them up at the water slides if you got them. Leave them in the teen club. That's what they're there for. Leave them in the buffet. Give them a snack. Give them a dessert for an hour. Do something with them other than bring them with you. Please, we beg you, all of us. Number 3 on this list is being loud in the hallways. Now, look, we all know if you've been on a cruise before, the walls are not the thickest things, and you can hear everybody going and coming along that hallway if they're being more than averagely loud, if that's even a thing. So being loud on the hallways, right, especially like at nighttime, right, if you're going out late at night and you want to go to the clubs until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, more power to you, that's what it's for. But when you're coming back to your room, try to be quiet. Some of us are trying to sleep. Some of us aren't going out that late, so try to be quiet and don't be so loud in the hallways. We understand you want to have a good time. We understand you want to have a great time. You're on vacation. None of us are against that. But look, just try to keep it down a little bit, right? Keep it down in the hallways and, and give us all a little bit of solace while we're sleeping. You don't have to be so loud. And look, that's all I got to say about the topic. Don't be so loud in the hallways. So number 4 on this list kind of goes hand in hand with the kids. Don't let your kids just run wild amongst the ship. One, there's a safety aspect to it, depending on how old your kids are. And 2, kids can be quite rude, and this is going to bleed into our 5th and final point here in a second. But if you think your kids are being angels, they might be. But they also might not be. And so don't let your kids run amok, right? There's safety first and foremost about, you see too many people falling off ships these days. But also, right, just letting them kind of run the entire ship and letting them run amok and not giving them any kind of guidelines or guidance or whatever the case may be, right? It's just not enjoyable for the rest of the guests who have paid their money, and you got a horde of teenagers just running up and down the stairs and running up and down the hallways and being loud and sometimes obnoxious, I should say. And just make sure that there's boundaries, right? There's teen clubs. There's all kinds of different things and activities for your kids to get into. Try to encourage them to do that. Look, it's okay to let them run around the ship for a little bit, or if you know that they're really respectful and whatnot, right? You have to know your own kids. If you know you got a teenager that is just gives you trouble at home, what makes you think he's going to be any different or she's going to be any different while they're on a cruise ship? Instead of them just giving you trouble, they're going to be giving everybody trouble. So just know your kids. Don't let them run amok. Don't let them run wild on the ship. That's not me being a party pooper 42-year-old dad. That's just me saying, hey, let's have respect for everybody that's paid to be on this vacation who want to relax and enjoy their time without having to worry about a bunch of kids and teenagers and stuff running around the ship. Now, number 5 on this list ties into the kids again, but it also goes for adults, and that is being rude to the crew. Now, there is no rhyme or reason to be rude to crew. Look, I mean, they have a hard job. They're away from their families, and I get things don't always go as planned. Things don't always go your way, and maybe there's some issues that come up or concerns. But there is an adult-like way to handle things. And so we as adults need to make sure we're handling ourselves and not just being rude and disrespectful to the crew. And when it comes to the kids, this happened on our Icon of the Seas cruise a few weeks back, where on day 4 or 5, I believe, one of the crew members, the washy-washy guy, the nicest guy you could meet on board.
1, 2, 3, everybody, yeah, yeah. Washy, washy, yeah, everybody, wash your hands, all right.
He was super nice, always cheerful, whatnot. it was disappointing because kids ended up throwing stuff at this guy for no reason, just being rude and disrespectful. Ended up chucking some stuff at him. And I got to tell you, if you don't think it affects the staff, I promise you it does. Because that guy was the most lively individual on the cruise ship the entire time. And then after that incident happened, there was a switch, a change. He wasn't as happy-go-lucky, not singing really upbeat songs, not really trying to entertain anymore. You could tell it really affected his psyche. And look, if you've got kids that are doing stuff like that, I hope that you as their parents would keep them in check. I know certainly we would. I mean, if we ever found out our kids were being disrespectful to anyone, but certainly to a crew member on a cruise ship or anything like that, we would definitely handle that internally. You know, we've never spanked our kids, and we've never, you know, obviously hit our kids, things like that. And, you know, we would never do that. But at the same time, right, there's things that you can, you know, do and expectations that our kids have, you know, we have of our kids. And so, right, we as adults need to make sure that we're being the adults and making sure we're taking care of situations like that. But you could tell it really affected his psyche. You know, from the moment that it happened, the moment we found out, you could tell the rest of the cruise, he was not the same. And it was a shame because he was such a lively thing. And if you watch a few of my vlogs, if you watch a couple of our vlogs back, you can see him. He was dancing, singing, doing the whole bit. And he was not like that the rest of the cruise. So again, don't be disrespectful to the crew. They are working their tails off. And please, we should be thanking them for the work that they're doing. And I know concerns come up and things get wrong. And maybe you got a wrong bill, maybe whatever. But yelling at the crew members or, you know, throwing things at staff and things like that, that is not going to solve your problem. More than likely, it's going to get you banned from the cruise ship and, you know, and banned from the cruise line. So you definitely don't want to do that. Let's handle ourselves professionally and respectfully and as mature individuals and citizens of this world. And I know that isn't always the case these days, but certainly I have faith in humanity that there are still some people that can handle their business in a respectful and a mature way. So those are 5 rude things you should never do on a cruise ship. Let me know down below if you agree with them, or let me know down below if you've got extra things that you think we should not be doing or being rude about while on a cruise ship. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you did. I really appreciate it. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. We're still trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we are almost there. We need your help for that, so go ahead and do that. And we will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.